Hey everybody, this is Alana from MetaPhysicsForLife.com, creating a mind with heart. And I'm here in Washington Park. Try not to move too fast. I have been staying with my daughter. She lives in the neighborhood out there. And it's a short walk to get to the park here. Sorry, don't want to move so fast. I'm up here because, I don't know if you know, but my home is in Southern Oregon. I lived in Talent and behind Phoenix in Oregon for 35 years. And about, a week and a half ago, or no, it's 2 weeks on Tuesday. By the way, this is one of my favorite walks. I usually bring the dogs here, but I want to videotape it so that I can watch it at home whenever I want to. But I came up here to escape the fires, which you may or may not have heard about in Oregon. I don't know how you couldn't have heard about them. But, I want to talk about it because these weren't wildfires. They were not started by lightning. There was not a thunderstorm in sight. We didn't have any thunderstorms all summer long. It was a very unusual spring and summer, in fact. And on the day when the fires began, by the way, I'm just showing you the beautiful trail instead of me because I think it's a lot nicer to look at than just watching me talk. On the morning that those fires began, I got up. 16% humidity and dropping. It was windy, gusting winds. Someone who knows California said these are Santa Ana winds. We've never had Santa Ana winds in Oregon. Okay, they called it a once in a generation fire. But anyway, I don't want to beat the drum on this. I'm gonna keep going because we have quite a walk to go. I don't want to beat the drum on this, but it was not natural. The fires were set. And the question is, why? Why would anybody do this? So I've been up here now only for a week, but I've had a lot of time to think about it because the smoke, made breathing hazardous. And so there was just a lot of time to sit around and think about things. And I finally had some realizations that I just wanted to share with you. Metaphysics is the study of the nature of reality, so we want to look at the nature of reality, of what's going on, not just in our own, immediate environment, but in the bigger picture as well, because the bigger picture is a part of our immediate environment. We tend to sometimes think that it's over there, away from us and not affecting us, but that's not really the case. So what might be going on? Okay. Where do I start with this? So if the fires are intentional and the weather was changed, to make it possible for them to burn the way that they did, which was very unnatural, why would somebody want to do that? Well, the title of this, once I upload it, is going to be, Is Covidism the New Religion? And the reason I came to that conclusion is that if you think back to earlier times, when people were connected more to spirituality, their own inner connection, their own inner spirituality. And so the things that they knew came from their own experience, as well as, the common experience with others. But there was no, authority, telling them about, their own inner experience and what it is and what it was. So that went on for a very long time, and people had their own, experience and relationship with that. But in that situation, everybody was very sovereign and free and independent to a certain extent. You've got communities, you've got families. There's going to be a certain amount of compromise there and shared beliefs and that type of thing to make it possible. But if you want to have an empire, okay, you have to have a way to be able to control masses of people who are now living in cities. All right, agriculture comes along, people move off the land, they go into the cities. There has to be some common belief system, whatever, to unite and make that possible. So then along comes religion, churches, whatever, organized religion, let's put it that way. And the purpose of that, the way that they were able to pull that off, is that they have some books that are in writing, and back then, most people didn't learn how to read. And so they would say, okay, there's going to be these select few. They know how to read. They're going to read these holy books, and then they are the authorities, and they're going to tell you, what you should think, what you should do. And they used fear. If you don't do this, you're going to end up in hell or whatever, or at the very least be excommunicated from your tribe, which probably meant that you weren't going to survive, and things like that. So it was a way of consolidating large groups of people in cities into a belief system. The purpose of which is so that the authorities, you can have control, all right? And they think, this is order, and so on and so forth. So you can make of that what you will, right? I'm not knocking churches. I'm not knocking religion in any way, shape, or form. This is a big tree that came down. Big. But I'm saying that whole model was used, to manage and get control of people. So what do we see happening today? Okay. Hummingbirds. Where are you? I hear it, but I don't see it. Oh, there you are. Oh, can't really see you. You're in there. You probably can't hear the hummingbird. Anyway, there's that tree that fell down. A long time ago. It's been there a long time. One thing that's really nice about being up here is it's very lush and green. Over the last 35 years, it's been getting drier and drier down in southern Oregon. And, my background is in natural resources, environmental education. I've never stopped learning. It's not like I just went to school back in the 80s and stopped. And also because I live in a tiny house on 3.5 acres next to a creek, I'm in very close contact with the environment and what's going on. Spend a lot of time outdoors, go hiking in the mountains and biking and stuff like that. So I get a lot of exposure to that. And what I've noticed is that what's going on there is not natural. It is being engineered. Whether engineering is a real thing, don't take my word for it. You can do the research and find out on your own. Don't use Wikipedia. Okay, that's not a reliable source of information. So up there it's been getting drier and drier, and so I like to spend more and more time up here. The 48th parallel, I think we are. Anyway, where obviously it's a lot greener. The smoke has finally cleared and we have blue sky and some clouds today. So, where was I? It's much nicer to just talk about the trees. So that's what happened, back in the day when people moved off the farms and into the cities and had to find a way to control everybody and, use the church and the authorities, the only ones who could read. So what do we have today going on? Well, there's this thing called science, okay? And science is great. The only problem is that a lot of people don't understand science similar to the way that a lot of people didn't know how to read a long time ago. And so what's happening is we have this elite group of experts, okay? They are the modern day, what do you call them? Not popes, you know, the ones who know everything, all right? And so what has happened is that science has become kind of the new religion, unfortunately. Although at first, scientific information, actually freed a lot of people. Being able to, test and see how things work and check with other people. When science originally evolved, it was individuals, who would do these experiments and then check with others and say, hey, did you get the same result? And then, there was a way to do that. And then what happened was, bottom line, is just like the church got control of religion, the government took control of science. And so now everybody looks to the government and government officials and experts to tell them what to do. And in this case, about our health. But it applies to lots of other things as well. So I think the parallel is a legitimate one. And so the thing is that what happened way back when, it was, people moving off the land into cities and being able to manage people that way. And now we're kind of, we're like a global civilization now. How do you get control of people, on a global level? And so what you do is you create these crises, the weather engineering, call it climate change, whatever you want to call it. Create a pandemic, call it whatever you want it. And you create these situations and get the government, in control of the resources, our healthcare, our education, and so on and so forth, so that it can all be managed on a global level, get everybody on the same thinking process. So, you can make of that what you will. I suppose some people would think, well, if we're going to become a global society, that's what you need to do. How else are we going to survive globally on the planet? My personal opinion is that people living in, small communities and working together, much like, scientists did originally, and would be able to work things out just fine. Also, probably the most disturbing outcome of this is, because I'm into spirituality, metaphysics, creating a mind with heart, and that is all about connecting to Source and getting inner guidance so that you know what to do, what's best for your body, and where to go and what to do and so on. For example, when I was diagnosed with MS, which was probably a result of all the glyphosate that got into our environment, and instead of, following the mainstream religion and taking drugs and all of that, I decided to go online while it was still an open platform. Now it's heavily censored. And I was able to find suggestions and information from actual, doctors who had, found ways to deal with it. And years later, I now am completely symptom-free. So I would hate to see that option being taken away because there is a singular, source of experts who only allow certain information to go through, and you're not allowed to tune in and follow the directions, from your own body. And that's in the health arena, okay? So, and then there are lots of other arenas as well. There's our food arena. There's the industrial agriculture, which uses lots of chemicals and glyphosate and making everybody sick and killing people, which creates that market for the drugs and so on. Great for the corporations. Not so good for us, but that's another story. And then you have regenerative, which is where farmers, get in touch with the land, with the soil. Hi. I never see anybody on this trail. It's good to see you. It's nice to see you.
And you. I have no idea where I am, but I'm going in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, you can't get lost. You'll be fine.
That's what I
Okay. Anyway, there was someone who, I didn't take a picture of her because, you can't do that. But she was wearing a mask out here in the woods. And that's Covidism. That is not based in reality in any way, shape, or form. So, it's very similar to, religious practices that, when they wanted to get control of people, it's make people do things that make no sense at all and tell them it's because if they do it, then they will be in a good relationship with God and go to heaven or something like that. And in this case, I don't even want to talk about the recommendations that they make. Do those insane things which are the opposite of health. And I don't know if people really think, I don't think it's so much that they believe it'll keep, maybe they do. They don't know what else to do. They're not in touch with their own inner guidance, and so they don't realize that what they're doing is the opposite of health. And it's all to induce a kind of conformity so that there can be a greater, level of control as we move forward. I don't know if I would call that forward, in my opinion. So, yeah, I do have an opinion about all this, that's for sure. You may not agree with it, and that's fine. Where was I? I think that was the main point. I think that's why that woman came by. That's why reality sent her to me to remind me that, this is what this is all about, is about giving your power over to an authority because you have forgotten who you really are. And then they tell you to do all kinds of insane things that are the opposite of truth and reality. Disempowered, lose your connection. And then freedom is gone. So, I'm sorry. It makes me sad. Makes me really sad. Oh, here comes that person with a dog. Can't put them on the video. It's not legal. It is a cute doggy, though. I do want to show you the dog. Hello, pretty doggy. It's okay. I'm not sick. All right. There goes another one. So, I'm in the Seattle area, north of Seattle, and I've read the statistics. These people are it's like 85% of the Seattle population has a college degree. These are some of the wealthiest, most highly educated people in the country, in the world. And they are completely buying in to Covidism, all right? So, what does that mean? It means that there are different kinds of intelligence. And there's book intelligence, which can make you, susceptible to this type of thing, of being misled, misinformed. And then there's hard intelligence, which is not going to misguide you. So I guess, that's the point. I followed my inner guidance, and I have the life that I have now. It's not the life that I thought I wanted, but it certainly has turned out to be the life that my heart desires. Okay? And when all of this stuff happened, all right, I was able to take care of myself, take care of people that I love, come up here, stay in Washington, ride it out. I'm going to go back, do some more work, there's one time I did not follow my inner voice that really stood out and that convinced me forevermore to follow it. And it was back in the early 2000s when we had the housing bubble. And I had just gone through a divorce. I used the money to remodel my house. The value went through the roof. And I just wanted to wait a couple more years till my daughter graduated from college, see where she landed, sell the house and move. Inner voice said, no, this was 2006, sell the house now, put the dogs in the truck, and go. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I argued. I said, yeah, we can wait 2 more years. Well, we all know what happened in 2007 and 8. Okay, lost all my equity. Ended up upside down in that house, decided to get out of it. But that landed me eventually on 3.5 acres next to a creek in the foothills of the Siskiyou Mountains. So after that, I decided, okay, I am listening now. And I've listened ever since. And things are happening now that, are pretty unbelievable. Nothing that I planned. Okay, all stuff that I could never have planned. So this is the kind, what I'm trying to say is this is the kind of intelligence, this is the kind of inner guidance that will guide everyone to their best and truest life. And if they're led to their best and truest life, then together we will create the best and truest life. I think what's happening now might be, might be a kind of culling, perhaps, of those who don't follow their heart. I don't know how well they're going to do in the coming few years. Today is September 20th, 2020, and we're getting very close to the fall equinox. The days are going to get darker up here in the northern hemisphere. And it's very similar to what's going on globally as... I'm sorry, but we're heading into a very dark period. You think the last 6 months was fun. I don't know, those who are only turning to the experts and the mainstream media and all of that for guidance of what to do, I don't know what's going to happen to them. There are more and more people who are tapping in and following their heart and not reacting in fear, and we'll see what happens. People keep asking me, where should I go? What should I do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not you. You got to tap into your own heart, your own inner guidance, for guidance in your own life. That's how it's done. I'm not saying there's any guarantees for me either. I don't know exactly where this path is going to take me. Well, I do, because I've done this one a lot of times. But you know what I mean. And but I have found that no matter how crazy it seems to get, when it seems to be the end of the world, it's the beginning of something else that maybe I couldn't even have imagined. Anyway, there's another human coming, which I cannot put on the camera. So turn the camera over here to the ferns.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing a walk and talk. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks. He was not wearing a mask, but he did try to move away from me. Oh, if you don't know anything about the gut biome and the virome, go to Zach Bush, MD, Z-A-C-H Bush, B-U-S-H-M-D.com, and watch what he has to say about the biome and the virome and how it really works. Right now, I'm surrounded, I've got trillions of viruses in me. There are viruses all around me. I'm breathing them in, I'm breathing them out. They are an important messenger system. They are an important part of evolution and adaptation. We need them. They are not the enemy. The enemy is, the enemy is fear. Really. And fear is love, turned inside out and upside down. So face it, turn it right side up again. Alright. I wish this was live so I wouldn't have to spend a whole bunch of time uploading it. But one of the nice things about Washington Park is there's no Wi-Fi here, and the cell phone signal doesn't work either. So I am not only taking a nice walk with great air and a great biome and, you know, breathing in all this wonderful stuff, because I'm not covering my face. There's also no, you know, EMFs here. So it's a great place to come and take a walk and meditate, get connected to the heart. I hope you have a place where you can go and do that. Getting near a body of water will help. And if all else fails, you know, you can take a long, hot shower, but make sure you put filters on it. So to get the chemicals out. I'm sorry, it's a complicated time right now, but eventually all that's going to get cleaned up. Alright, I'm getting towards the end of the trail here. That's the park and the water out there. It's a little too far. If it was closer, I'd go get you a nice shot of the islands. But I think I'm going to end on this nice sequoia right here. And yeah, I mean, it's a theory. Metaphysics is the study of the nature of reality. Science, we put out theories, we test them. Right now, this one seems to be a good fit to me, okay? That just like when we moved off the land into the cities, churches came along and, you know, using those beliefs to try to control large groups of people so that the cities thing can work. And then now that we have a global situation, you know, trying to create a global situation where government has taken over science and telling us, you know, what's true, what's not, what's right, what's wrong, and using fear to disconnect us from our own inner guidance, our own heart. So, and the answer to that is, you know, connect with your heart. Fear is love, turned inside out and upside down, turn it right side out again, access love-based truth, and listen to that inner guidance. Accept what it has to say, and see where you end up. I don't know where it will be. I didn't know I was going to end up here, that's for sure. Alright, I will be back in Southern Oregon in a few days, and maybe I'll talk to you then. Alright, love you. See you later. Bye-bye.